Welcome to my channel. I'm your host, That Creepy Reading, and I know I haven't been around for a while, but that's simply because I had to pull a second job in order to afford rent. With that being said, though, I got some fantastic classic stories to narrate for you today. Today we got The House of Rules. For those who decide to stay, sit back, relax, and turn down your lights, and welcome to the dungeon. I've been your host, That Creepy Reading, and today we got creepypastas. I live in a house of rules. I should explain. I moved here 3 months ago, flat number 27. The flat was a repossession. I never met the previous owner, and to this date, I only know him from a post I received in his name. I could make up stories of him vanishing, or his screams being heard in the darkness of one night. I could make exaggerated claims about all of this, but that would make this a work of fiction. Nor is it written to entertain. I just got this new job. A promotion I had waited years for. This meant the next step to greater things. But I need to move quickly to save on this long drive each day. When I found this place, I was overjoyed. It was well located within my price range, and apart from being extremely run down and dirty, it had a lot of potential. It's a duplex apartment with a guest room and a spare bathroom on the ground floor. And there was a dressing room and several storage rooms on the top floor. The purchase was a complicated one, due in part to poor record keeping and the loss of the deeds and plans of the house, which should have taken a month from start to finish, took 4 times as long. Because of the length of time, I took several viewings, and each time I was amazed by the windows and the cupboards that I could not recall from previous visits. Rooms seemed bigger and lighter, more inviting even. Even the estate agent was baffled that her property listing documents were consistently wrong. The neighbors in the blocks of flats were a strange lot. They don't talk. They keep the routines. You can set a clock by. When I first moved in, I tried to invite them to a housewarming. So desperate was I to meet new people. But no one came. They get in at the same time every day. They never leave the house. I never hear them moving ground at night. One of them, a nervous man from upstairs who constantly fidgets and glances around, apologized afterwards. He explained his lack of attendance and said that he wasn't allowed to. At the time, I presumed that meant his wife. But now, I'm not so certain, as he was the only one I had gotten to know since the move. I did my best to become friendly, and even felt like I was making headway. Then I made a mistake about asking about the previous owner, to which he made the awkward and short response before making his excuses. I have not seen or heard from him since. These rules, as I came to understand them, became apparent over time. The first was sleeping only in my bedroom. I only slept once in the lounge on purpose, dozing on the sofa until I woke up to my arm being trapped between the sofa and the wall. A wall that was several feet away from the sofa when I closed my eyes a few hours earlier. I was overcome with a feeling, a very familiar feeling, that I was somewhere that I shouldn't be. This feeling wouldn't leave until I hurriedly and stumbled up into my bed, where I only felt truly safe once I hid under the blankets like a scared child. I only fell asleep once more in that lounge after that, by accident. I was woken up once again with the feeling that I should leave, that it would be unsafe to stay, and that I should not be there. This time, however, a sweater I had left across the room on the radiator was tied around my neck and pulled tightly enough to leave striking marks against my throat. The rule of sleeping only in my bedroom stands alongside others, countless others. I learned that I should clean my dishes immediately. When I stepped out of the kitchen after depositing my plate, I sat down on a safety pin that was jutting out of the back of the sofa. I learned not to take too long showers when the water suddenly turned scalding hot, and remained so no matter how desperately I tried to turn it off. And then was inexplicably normal temperature when I tried it moments later. I learned that I must hover and keep the place tidy, and that I must not waste electricity, and no matter what noises I hear at night, I must never, ever explore. Another rule is guests are not welcome. Last time I had a guest, it was a friend who invited himself in. Despite my concerns that I could not air down for the weekend by making the argument to come and see me until I rented, how could I not? I spent the entire time terrified for their safety, and pretty much drove them away with my strange behavior accordingly. But there were no events. Such things made me bold, and I began to relax. I stayed awake till late night. I played music at night, and did whatever I wanted. Even go so far as feeling like I had triumphed as the house remained meekly and quiet. It was almost immediately after they left that I noticed headaches and nausea, which got worse and worse as the gas leak continued. I only just made it out before I succumbed. I have so many things I could tell you, example after example. I don't know where to begin. I need you to look past your skepticism and see that this is real. That this is more than a coincidence. It's more than just child's play, and it's more than just a haunting. I am not being haunted. I am being ruled. The rules are only a part of it. They're a part I play. The rest is done without me, and not only that, but done around me. Walls shift, doors open some days, but won't the next. The number of windows in my bedroom increased by 1 over the consecutive nights. I mean, then there was only 1 again. There is a cupboard on the top of my stairs that changes sizes regularly. One of the most terrifying experiences of my life was when I opened it and saw it went back several meters more than I remembered. When I walked in, somehow, the door shut behind me, and I groped in the dark, silently reaching out for a wall that I knew must be there, yet my fingers only touched air. I do not know how long I fumbled in the dark, but it was only as my panic attack rose that my shaking fingers found a wooden door. Have you ever woken up in one room with a chair sitting at the end of your bed? A chair that came from the dining room down a flight of stairs along the hallway? Have you ever walked into a room and seen a storage cupboard that was not there before? Have you ever observed more stairs on the staircase as you go down them than there was when you first went up? Have you ever entered a room looking for something and then you just gave up and left? I have lived all these things, and I, a better, more scientific man, I would have kept a running log of all of it. I would have found proof I needed to show to the world, proof that would show I'm not crazy, that this is real, that this is a nightmare I'm living. 5 hours has passed since I sat down to record this, and Once I had hoped to prepare some lunch and hoped that there were no drawing pins on my bread like last week when I realized I had it covered. It is getting dark. I now live in a life of routine, just like my neighbors. I turn up the music no one notices after dark is one of the rules, and it is the one that I hate the most because it makes me feel so alone. Lights are off in lights are off in the rooms that are empty, or too many in one room are prone to fusing or even shattering without warning. So I currently have glare on the screen on the television and a lamp. Soon I shall go to bed. The doors will shut behind me as I head up, and they'll lock behind me, and I will wake up with the windows wherever they please and the doors that may or may not open to cupboards that are too small or too big as each variation allows. The television in the room that I'm in has a satellite connection and countless channels. Right now, they're all set to fuzz or static except for National Geographic, so I'm forced to listen to a documentary on carnivorous plants as I type. I try not to dwell on the exhaustion of the beetle on the screen as it tries to escape in vain from its prison, a prison that will soon digest it. The remote does not appear to work. It took pulling the plug from the socket to turn it off just moments ago, and even that I loathe to do so, for the fear that it might stay on and it would never leave me. I know that those images would have continued even if I removed the plug. I would have screamed myself into madness. I could push my neighbors to talk more. I could rebel against the rules. I could start a fire and torch the whole building. But truly, I just want to get by. I get the feeling that up until now, I've simply been coached like a dog to do what is required of me. I feel like punishments could get a lot worse. The occasional demonstration of strength, the enforcement of the rules, and the occasional mild punishment when I try and transgress. Like one taps the nose of a dog when it misbehaves. That is what I hope for, if I can behave. Stepping out of line only causes me harm and fear. It is only out of fear and reference to my own human dignity that I do not explore here. What happens when the house feels really needs to really punish me. Needless to say, the scar will be with me to the rest of my life. Which brings me, or us, to here. I cannot go on. I took the decision to write this with the remaining fight I still have left in me to ask for help to upload this. I cannot do it over phone. I cannot write a letter. I need something more physical than that, something that cannot die. My only hope is to speak into this microphone and tell a story conspicuous and without details that might draw attention to the content. All I can hope is that someone sees enough to spot my cry for help, that they try to contact me where I can get a lifeline that I need to escape. I cannot ask directly, it's too risky. Besides, any form of open rebellion has been snuffed out of me with pain and suffering and terror. I feel for my safety, for my punishment for breaking the rules. I'm surprised that it's allowed me to get even this far. In over 1,000 words I have spoken, there has not been a power cut or a computer error that made me lose anything. Perhaps there is still hope. The truth is, I'm scared. Scared of what touched my face when I sleep at night. The night after the last, after I accidentally left the tap running. I'm clutching firmly on bruises on my cheek that still remain. I am scared for what left a pair of scissors in my slippers. Of what Power moves wooden doors and plaster walls seemingly on a whim. Most of what I'm scared by writing this. I may wake up in a tiny room with no doors or windows. A room that grows smaller and smaller every time I blink.